What? Why are you shaking your head?
You're welcome. What is going on? It is Hump Day, and I'm Hansen. It must be Hump Day with Hansen here on the Fantasy Points YouTube page and all that good stuff. Week 14 coming at us quickly here, kicking off tomorrow night. Seems like week 13 just ended about 12 hours ago, but I have started doing early rankings. I do have the quarterbacks done at the very least, which is ahead of schedule, looking at everything, just an initial glance at everything. I will say we are a little late on getting up our wide receiver cornerback data here. Not to call anybody out. It's only 10 a.m. here. Oh, and our guy Tommy T-Bone is standing by here. He's kind of my co-host here. What is up, Thomas? How are you?
Doing well, Guru. You're not wrong in feeling like week 13 had just ended. It was not that long ago. I was crying over the fact that I have been bumped out of the bye weeks in multiple leagues after the Jerry Jeudy game. So still licking my wounds, if you would, on that. But we're going to bounce back here last week to secure those bye weeks. So big week.
Hey, man. I am not complaining about that Monday night game. It was beautiful. It was everything that we've been missing. We had two guys. Well, basically, Bo Nix hit 300, 294, close enough. And Jameis, 497. Unbelievable. Jerry Jeudy, if you followed me, you know I was a Jeudy guy. And same with Elijah Moore. Had to apologize multiple years. But hey, shout out to David Njoku. He was my Monday night special, Thomas, on the VSiN show. Touchdown. I was feeling it. Plus 270. I mean, we could have lost a touchdown off the board and still hit that one. Also hit the Njoku prop. So I did go 4-0 on Monday night with the propage and all that. So I'm how many times did I say it on these live streams? Get me the F out of November. Yeah. I have no idea what it was, but man, it just tied me up. I was rolling in September and October, and I'm like, wow. But I did say over and over again, get me out of November, and we're good. And so far, we're good. 1 week in December. So I feel pretty good now. But man, November was absolutely brutal. So lesson learned, and this has always been the case. I've said this a million times. I don't know what it is about November. It's just it's also the month, by the way, when over the years, there was a time 20 years ago, where people would just kind of hang on my every word and just do whatever I said, which is not healthy. People need to think for themselves, and I'll be like a support system for them. But back then, if a guy underwhelmed, then it was all my fault. And November was the month when everyone started to get real cranky and grumpy about their picks. And I would hear it, man. November was brutal. But then, things are positive in December. The people who are done, they kind of fall off. They get over it. They understand that we're trying to literally predict the future. And then you're left with those who are pleased because they're still involved. Right. You know what I mean? So same pattern every damn year. Year. Then the accuracy improves down the stretch. I don't know what it is about the late season. Maybe it's the late season push. Guys are going balls to the wall. But you also have teams tanking it.
Yes.
Late in the season. So
many players that might have imaginary hamstring injuries always at risk. But I always like to say, too, these are the top 1% of athletes in the world. They want to go out there and do their thing, right? So it's tough to predict these tankers to, what we as fans want to see our teams do for tanking, and then what they actually do don't usually line up. But it's always worrisome when you got running backs that can lose some snaps just because they want to keep them fresh for next year. I don't know. It's always odd, but.
You know what worries me? One player in particular. Well, probably my biggest pet peeve or annoyance is, and I've been saying this for decades and calling people out, by the way. I'll call myself out if it is appropriate, but in this regard, it's not, because the front runners can't stand the front runners. It was a front runner, looking at body language. If this guy was winning, oh, he's out there doing backflips, he's out there dancing.
Oh yeah.
But if he's losing, it's like he's lugubrious. He's just, the body language is awful. Cam Newton was a big front runner.
Yeah.
So I'm a little worried about CD Lamb as the Cowboys tank it, right? I mean, because he looked like front runner-ish on Thanksgiving Day. But in his defense, I mean, I don't know exactly how hurt he was and all that, but I do worry about that.
I'm hoping this was like, we're not losing this game, just stay out. Like it's they had the feel. It felt like even from the first snap, the Giants weren't winning that game. So I'm hoping that they were like, we're not letting you go back out there and get worse. It's over.
Yeah.
Just relax.
Yeah.
We'll get you your bonuses type thing. That's me thinking positively.
Yeah, we got Rico Dowdle. The Giants making him look like Emmitt Smith out there
Exactly.
on Thanksgiving.
Exactly.
So NFC, I'm not that worried about it. The San Fran situation is obviously worrisome.
Oh God.
In terms of like, how much do they push it with Brock Purdy, basically, or can we even trust Brock Purdy? New Orleans were fine. Chicago, ugly, but we're hanging in there. Those are pros. I mean, there was no effort problems on Thanksgiving, that's for sure. You'll never have an effort problem with DJ Moore. Dude is serious as hell. And then Keenan Allen came through. Carolina, hey, this is like season 4 of the season, and it's a good season for them.
Yeah.
So we're good there.
You're not wrong.
Giants a little better with Drew Lock. Raiders, hey, Aiden O'Connell looking good, by the way. I picked him up in the Fantasy Points Invitational League before his big game last week, actually, eyeballing some really good matchups, because I do, in fact, have Brock Purdy. And my backup is Trevor Lawrence in that league.
No.
So I picked up O'Connell. I may actually freaking start him this week. Jacksonville, we're all right there. Hey, how about ETN? Actually looked okay last week. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh, wow, he didn't he?
Thought it was interesting that Tank Bigsby ran more routes than ETN, but it didn't matter. He still only got one target. So kind of something to be interesting, but you're right. Fully healthy. We talked about it last night on Dynasty Points. The week 4 through 8 tank over, if you would, when it looked like Tank was the guy in the fantasy community, and it has not gone well since the 2 big blow up games. So we'll see down the stretch, but ETN, you're right, and he looked pretty good.
The big tank situation to worry about is probably the Jets. Like, what the hell? Like, I mean, can we keep coming back over and over again and losing?
It's got to be Tyrod.
I believe. Yeah, I think they might pull that plug on the complicated fella here. Yeah. But the question is, how much of a downgrade is that? It's a downgrade, but I don't think it's like a landslide, like massive downgrade. Tyrod's got a little bit more escapability, and he does throw a good deep ball. Aaron Rodgers seemingly is not doing that anymore. It's like the first thing to go on a quarterback. Well, mobility, escapability, the speed with which you can escape defenders and separate from them. We'll see that with Russ Wilson falling off a cliff. And then the downfield throws is kind of the first thing that goes.
I just got to point out that last year when Tyrod Taylor played on the Giants, he put up 21 points versus Washington in 4-point passing touchdown leagues. And then he got sad again. And then the last 2 games of the year versus the Rams and Eagles, he put up 18.7 points and 17.68 points in 4-point leagues. Maybe he still got it. I don't know. Maybe he won't miss a wide open Garrett Wilson 3 times in one game like Rodgers did this week. Absolutely sickening.
So you're saying I should have won the Garrett Wilson over like 57.5 yard prop last
Oh,
week?
Guru, he ran what could only be described as the perfect route and was wide open by
Yeah, I saw
8
a
to
couple of
10
those.
yards. He absolutely
Yeah.
put somebody on skates, and Rogers just missed him. And I was waiting for him
Yep.
to blame the planets not being aligned or something, but it was the wind he ended up blaming, which naturally, I wonder if that's going to be on the Netflix special. Truly unbelievable, this guy. But we do have a ton of questions lined up.
Yeah,
if you
let's
want
get
to
into it
dive
here.
in.
Well, let's dive on in because we've been doing some content here and then not getting to all the questions. So let's
Right.
make the content the questions, and I'll try and touch on everything else. So what do we got? Let's go.
Well, let's start with the first one of the day. Was a super chat from Andrew. It says, "Morning, fellas. Full PPR. Do I trade CD and Chubb for London and Thielen? I don't need the running back help because, but I can use another flex. I don't trust CD." An interesting conversation to be had here.
The conversation starts with how much do you trust Kirk Cousins though?
I
Because
think
he
it'll
has
be
not been
Penix
good.
soon.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way I look at things. Like when you're making a move like this, like, okay, I'll take a shot. And if Kirky is just dead, at least we've got Penix, who's got a live arm. So it was Chubb and Lamb for London and who?
Adam Thielen.
Remember, I did love Adam Thielen here last week. I'm pretty
did.
sure I talked that up.
You did.
How many times did I say, hello, dude caught 100 balls? My favorite line about that is he was slow last year when he caught 100 balls. He's still slow. It doesn't matter because he gets open and he has great hands
right.
and all that.
Rough week for him in week 14 against Philly, but he gets Dallas, Arizona, and Tampa Bay in the playoffs. Adam Thielen.
Yeah. Dallas. Yeah. Yeah, that's not bad at all. Yeah, I think I'll do it. I mean, I'd rather have Drake London right now than CeeDee Lamb, wouldn't you?
Yes, and I want out of the Nick Chubb business. So
yeah.
Especially if you don't need the running back. I think this is a fair deal to make 100%. I like it.
Yep. I'm with it.
TX Breader 83 with a super chat as well says, in a half-point PPR, JMO, Mooney, Cooper, Nick Westbrook, Akine, or Tillman at the wide receiver to the spot. Says, I literally have no clue who to start. Freaking bye weeks, man. Thanks.
Yeah. This is tough. Well, we got to see exactly where Mooney is. I haven't caught up to Mooney since last week. I liked him last week.
Missed him on a wide open touchdown.
Oh, did he?
Yep, wide. No one near him. It was a walk-in and just late.
That's right. There's another prop I lost. I can't even tell you how many props were there on the field to win this year, and dudes just don't make the play. That's frustrating. I got to tell you, I've been saying this for about 2 weeks, and it hasn't happened yet, but we're now to the point where we're in that spot of the schedule for Amari Cooper. I don't know if anyone remembers this, but if you read the trade article, it's been in there for 2 weeks.
Right.
Value is really low, and I really like these like Amari Cooper this week against the Rams. I'm starting them because they have been bad on the outside. Like they have been a perimeter funnel. So I'm using Cooper. Man, NWI got a great matchup. I mean, and so does JMO, though. This is a good schematic matchup for JMO. He's so frustrating, though. I lost a prop on him last week where he was wide open a couple of times. And one time it was even mentioned by, I can't remember who did the game, but the color commentator was like, oh, there's JMO running wide open. Goff didn't see him. I would go Cooper. And if Mooney, here's how I'd rank them. And if Mooney practices, let's say only like one limited practice and he gets 2 fulls in, I'm going Mooney and Cooper. But if Mooney is limited all week, maybe I'd probably go JMO over Mooney. And then we need 3 of these guys.
No, he just needs one at the wide receiver too.
Oh shit! Oh, I'm sorry, Cooper. I'm going Cooper. It's a really good matchup. This is it. This is the spot.
This is the one.
This is it. No, I'm telling you. And I was even talking about it with our guy Stephen O'Rourke, who had some data to back it up. And I've been looking at this matchup and this run of games for weeks. But where is that information here? Where the hell is it? I've got it somewhere. I can pull it up. But yeah, I'm feeling it. Like it's time to get him going. Like last week, of course, they
Agreed.
didn't really need it, but
Snow
they
and-
traded for him for a reason.
Right. I just put him into my home league lineup, Guru, because you said that. So I'm riding with the call. Riding with the call. Jay Proof says,
Here we go. Real quick. Khalil Shakir led the way with the Bills in target share. He's Josh Allen's go-to guy, which we said. I pretty much said that in the summer. I definitely said that in the summer. I loved Shakir.
Yes.
But the Rams are one of the stingiest defenses against slot receivers. They allow a 73.8 passer rating and just 6.9 YPA and a 63% completion rate, which is kind of low for a slot.
Yeah.
All top five. The Rams are consequently bad against targets out wide. Amari Cooper has been a slow build, as he puts it, but this could be the big week for him against a defense allowing a 10.6 YPA and a 130 passer rating, worst in the league. Now, you do have Keon Coleman around, so we'll see about that, but I still think it's an Amari Cooper game.
I love it. Like I said, he's in my home league lineup. There's no league I care about more than the home league. I'm using the Guru's info here. Jay Prug says, Guru, so glad you did the show for 2024. I hope it continues. Says needs a W for the playoffs in a 6-point TD league, and you get 1 point for every 50 yards passing. I feel like that's massive. Are we going your guy Jordan Love, or are we going the airmail assassin Derek Carr?
No, we're not going Carr. No. This is the easiest question I've gotten all year.
I tried to spice it up with a nickname to see if I could get you to bite.
Yeah, nah. I mean, Love is he's averaging 19.4 fantasy points a game in this matchup over his last three, dating back to last year. 262 yards passing. I mean, they are stingy right now, but they weren't that stingy in the second half last week, right? Against Caleb Williams. I mean, I loved Keenan Allen last week. He did it. 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Didn't love DJ Moore. He did it. No, Jordan Love all day long. I know hasn't been as good as I thought for a variety of reasons. But if you look at Jordan Love points per game, I bet she's top 7 right now in the league. And that's still over his ADP because he was not the QB 7. He was like the QB 9 or 10. Mm-hmm. I had him at 7, I believe. But that's where he is right now. So as bad as it is, dude's a QB 7. So I start his ass.
All right.
Sure.
I can vibe with that. Just had to, like I said, I tried to spice it up and tried to get, but can't do it.
By the way, you want a bold prediction?
Yes.
You ready?
I'm ready.
You ready for your mind to be blown?
I am sitting.
Jordan Love rushes for a touchdown this week.
Okay.
Because he's got 0.
I like that.
He's due.
He needs
He's moving around a lot better.
Tough matchup.
Detroit plays man. This is a time for him to take off and run a little bit. By the way, the Lions are giving up 28 rushing yards a game in their last 4.
Okay.
That's a lot.
All right. I love that call. That's damn good. Taylor Thornton.
That's not really X and O's, or that's just more of a gut feeling, but I've been on fire on these damn gut feelings really this year, honestly.
A lot to be said for the fantasy points data, but even more to be said about the John Hansen gutalytics here in 2024.
I mean, it's just like David Njoku last week. I'm like, you know what? Bad schematic matchup. For the first time, I don't care. They need him. And what happened? He got 17 targets, and he scored 2 touchdowns.
I know. He absolutely smoked me. Taylor Thornton with the 199 needs a flex start. Tracy, Myers, or Kittle in a PPR. You're rich, Taylor. You're super rich to be making these decisions.
Tracy, boy, Jacoby Myers is absolutely bowling. He is he is awesome, and we were all over that one. Scott Barrett and I wrote him up weeks and weeks and weeks in a row. Like, trade for this man. Like, as soon as Devontae Adams was traded, I'm like, this guy's good. Like, he's gonna get it done. Like, real big. And working off a little bit of Brock Bowers here. Boy,
Gets
boy,
Tampa
let's
Bay,
see.
Atlanta, Jacksonville, and New Orleans coming up too. Oh my
I mean,
goodness.
I like Myers here, but Tracy against New Orleans, you gotta start Tracy. I'm sorry. I mean, I really like Myers, but Tracy against New Orleans,
Yep.
I was shocked at how well their secondary performed last week, by the way. That was one of those deals where, like, man, sometimes you just never know how the schemes are gonna match up. I'd
Right.
say it that way. But yeah, I mean, I guess they're getting a little bit better. But how about Tracy getting a little bit? He's getting a little bit more in the passing game, right? In their last
Yep.
game, didn't he?
Three targets, 2 receptions, coming off a 4-target, 4-reception game versus Tampa Bay. They're gonna need him with how bad Drew Lock is. So hopefully they keep that going. He had 14.5 PPR points last week after a bad game against Tampa. He does
Yeah.
seem to he has 15 to 20 point averages, really pretty much.
Yeah.
Generally speaking. So I
Yeah.
agree with that call. That's an upside call, and I like it.
Yeah, we're getting 15 touches minimum. I think they're giving up 5.1 yards a carry still.
Yeah.
By the way, 23.4 fantasy points, 22 carries a game for $113. They've given up 5 rushing touchdowns in their last 4 games, and they also give up 3 grabs a game, which isn't a ton, but it's better than nothing.
Got to remember that New Orleans is a team that had everybody believing for one quarter, or because of one quarter, that Sean Tucker was going to take away from Bucky Irving's upside. And I thank the New Orleans Saints for that every single day, for allowing me to get even more Bucky Irving on my roster. Derek Stifer says, I hope I said that correctly. Sorry if I did not. Need a QB this week, Jameis or Caleb?
Ooh, well, kind of leaning Caleb here. I mean, I hate to say it. Let's see what Caleb is averaging here and look at this Niner D. I don't know about Lenore right now, the corner. Niner D is not that good. They're giving up a 68% completion rate. Caleb is running. I mean, Caleb is averaging 40 rushing yards a game in his last 4. That's like a touchdown. So he's basically averaging. Let's call him Jared Goff and take away the running and figure he's going to get 1 yard. So he's basically averaging 237 passing per game and 2 tutties. So it works out to 18.9. Jameis did not have a very good game last time out against Pittsburgh. Obviously, that was 2 weeks ago.
That was the snow game as well.
Yeah, he did have the rushing touchdown. I mean, he did complete. Well, he did have an 8.1 YPA, 0 touchdown passes though, with a pick. And they're only giving up 15. I'm going Caleb. I'm going to go Caleb there.
Yeah, I think that's a smart call as well. I'll go. I would absolutely agree with that. Rob Milner, good morning. Thoughts on 2 trades for playoff positioning? Chase plus Pickens. He's getting Nico plus Cortland Sutton. Would be the first one.
Yeah, I mean, Sutton is better than Pickens for fantasy. Did anyone have him over Pickens? No. Did I? Hell no. I actually went back and I think I had Sutton a little higher than I thought. Actually, not that it matters. It only matters to me, but I'm going to look it up anyway. Man, I mean, you would not even be considering this if you weren't worried about the Bengals tanking, right? I mean, this would not be a consideration.
I don't think I'm even worried about that. Jamar Chase wants to. He's the Triple Crown winner right now, if I'm not mistaken. The Triple Crown leader. I think he wants it. I'm not worried about that, especially because it allows him to have even more leverage come payday. He gets Dallas, Tennessee, Cleveland, and Denver. I mean,
Okay, so I'm gonna not do the first one.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I don't know. I feel like you got to measurably improve your team if you're going to do a trade. And I'm not convinced that this measurably improves your team. I mean, it's a
agree here.
lateral move.
I agree here. Second trade,
Hawkinson Hubbard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I would do that. I would do that for sure.
Clarkson and Hubbard, and you'd be getting Jonnu and Skinny Batman.
Yes.
We take that. Chuba's time is running out.
Yeah. Yeah. The guys were a little more into Chuba this past week than I was. I'm like,
Yeah.
I just don't,
I like him.
He is a little bit of an anti-guru, right? In that, like, he can come out and just ball the F out and crush it for you, or you might think he will do that for you because you've seen it recently, and then you come out and he gets and just craps it for you, like does nothing.
Yeah, and you just had to predict Brooks was getting more than the 1 or 2 touches in his second week active. So I like getting out.
Yeah.
I like getting out on Chuba right now.
Yeah.
And so I like the second deal. We're not doing the first deal. I think I'm right there with you. Steve Lindor says, morning, a must win. Point per completion, 6-point touchdown league. So yes, quarterbacks score like crazy. Can you pick 2 out of these and order you would pick for the 2 of week? All right, that's a little odd.
Yeah.
But we got Russ, Winston, Kyler, Cousins, and Caleb.
Yeah. By the way, my cheat sheet on the site, I did have Sutton 10 places over his ADP, so I wasn't down on him. You can't say I was down on him. His ADP was 117. I had him at 105. That's actually a full round, I guess. So that's not bad. Anyways, well, I would imagine that Kyler Murray is kicking ass in your league.
Yeah.
If you're getting a point per completion, I'm going to see, let's see if I can guess how many completions per game Kyler Murray is getting his last 4. I'm going to guess that it's a pretty high number. I'm going to guess 24. Let's take a look. In his last 4, Kyler Murray.
The game
24.
in Minnesota is going to help.
22.5.
Yeah.
31
31
damn it, I should have
completions.
said attempts.
Yeah.
31 attempts. Are you looking at the same numbers I'm looking at?
Minnesota had 31. He had 31 completions against Minnesota and 45 attempts versus Minnesota in that game.
Right.
He is just throwing that. They could not run the ball at all.
Right. And then, these teams met 2 freaking weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
And James Conner was dead in that game. I mean, oh my God. But, quarterbacks are throwing it 37 times a game against Seattle. That defense, though, is improving.
It is.
They're definitely getting a better and better. But I do think Kyler's got to be in there. I mean, his last 2 games, one of them this year, he's averaging 23 completions a game. That's pretty good. So now, Russ, I actually like Russ last week. I had him pretty high, and I wrote him up as a matchup to exploit. I think I said it on our live stream on Sunday. I said it a couple of times that I like Russ in this game. But I don't like him here at home. This, to me, is a low-volume game. I think Najee in the running game will kind of crush. Browns did get him good last time out 2 weeks ago and make me look like a jackass because I like Najee's prop. But, a week later, last week, what happened? Guy kicked ass. So I don't know. His biorhythms are down last week or something 2 weeks ago. I thought he'd be perfect for the snow because he's a little bit of a plotter. But he actually does have some lateral agility. And, that outside zone game just wasn't happening. But I think it will here because the Browns have been bad against those runs. So I can't say I'm going to go Russ. I think I'm probably just going to do Caleb here.
Yeah.
Just
Caleb
hope for the best.
Caleb is definitely the call for me. roll with Love versus Detroit or stream Winston, Levis, Carr, Rush, or O'Connell.
This is one of these things where, look, we don't have access to just start Love. Like we shouldn't even be deliberating about it. I know again, it hasn't been amaze balls, but by the way, he is a strong finisher. His last 8 games last year, dude had 15 touchdown passes versus 1 pick. Not doing a ton here, but that would tell me, by the way, he's due for some tutty regression here because he's only averaging 1.3 per game. But you know what he is also averaging passing the ball? And this is in a receiving core that's not going off by any stretch, but a couple of downfield plays to Watson. He's averaging 9.1 yards an attempt in his last 4. Problem is he's just not even throwing it all that much. 27 attempts per game. That's a low number. However, in his last 3 games in this matchup, he's averaging 36. So 19 points a game. I think it should be a higher scoring game. I'm feeling pretty good about Love, actually. Look at the total. 51.5 all day long. Sleep like a baby. No weather, no pass rush. The Lions, they have a good defense. They're cohesive, but Jordan Love will get it done in this game. I'm very confident.
I love that, and they need it. They need the game pretty badly, so there's a good narrative for you if you need one. PPR, he says he needs 3. Walker, Ridley, Shakir, Debo, Devonta. Thanks, Guru.
Yeah. Not Shakir, oddly enough, because of that matchup there. I definitely want Devonta. He's coming back this week. He's coming back.
I think you could have played last week, but they were safe.
This is a good matchup. Let me check the schematics real quick. I am 90% sure that is a good schematic matchup here for skinny Batman. Let me find it. I am 99% sure, actually. I'm even going to bump that up. Well, let's take a look. Oh, yeah. Correct. Correctamundo. He has a better schematic, actually, than AJ Brown because they're zone heavy, and you roll Devontae kills zone. Shocking to me that he doesn't do well against man. I'm not sure what that is, but I don't know what that is, honestly. Physicality, lack thereof, I'm not sure. But he is a zone killer, and they're zone heavy. So Devontae is in, and I don't know how you sit Ridley, man. I mean, it's too good of a matchup, too good, and it's a revenge game as well. It is a beautiful schematic matchup for Ridley. So he is in. And I'm telling you, sleep like a baby. Walker. Is that Ken Walker?
I believe so.
Yeah, let's do that. So not Shakir, not Debo. Walker, Ridley, and Skinny B.
Yeah, we can't play Debo right now. It's just bad news bears. Will says, morning, gents. Half point PPR. Need 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, and 1 flex. He's got Tracy, Hall, White, Hopkins, and Harrison. Thanks so much. Good luck in the playoffs.
By the way, I like to throw some tidbits out in this thing. People seem to like it. I tend to have interesting things happen to me in my life. I don't know why, but even way back in Little League, I'm not lying. My first Little League baseball coach, this is the 70s, was in fact the dude from Bad News Bears. 100%. It was the exact same guy. It looks like my internet just crapped out there for a minute. Literally, I am not lying. Drank cans of Budweiser beer in the dugout while coaching us in 1978. Not lying. Not lying whatsoever. We can get Gary Melton. We can get Gary Melton on the podcast to confirm this, by the way, because father of Bo Melton and Max Melton, Gary had reminded me. I forgot about this, and I remembered everything. I told Gary I remembered what team he played for in 1978, what position he played, what order in the batting lineup he was. I remembered everything. The color, I remembered everything. And I forgot the most obvious thing is him and I got skipped up together one year when the little league needs a player or two to have an even, they got to call a couple kids up. Me and Gary Melton were the call ups, and I can't believe I forgot that. I was like, what? I can't believe I forgot that. But anyways, he can confirm that I literally had the Bad News Bears coach in little league, which was fine, by the way. I didn't mind it at all. Anyways, enough of me.
Phenomenal. We need
Tracy.
Yeah, we need a running back,
Tracy's
wide
in.
receiver, and a flex here. We got Tracy, Hall, White, Hopkins, and Harrison.
Friggin' Brees Hall, man. I'm sorry. I have to apologize. I am sorry about Brees Hall. I am sorry for backing a young stud who's versatile. That is my bad. Who is
He's
another
still
year.
the RB11, right? He's before the bye week, he had 31 points.
I know, but it's such a buzzkill. These idiots. Yeah, I guess we got to go with Hall there. I mean, we got to, right? Unless we have some injury
we have
concerns.
a flex option as well. So
yeah. Yeah, I'm not doing the D Hop. That was BS though. I mean, are you kidding me? The week before I said D Hop's catching 5 balls and scoring, which he did. And I'm like, I'm going to play the prop over 43.5. Didn't hit it. And then this past week, he's out there running around like he's 24 years old. I mean, he averaged like 14 yards a catch last week, didn't he? Let's take a look. This is annoying. 4 for 90. That's more than what the hell is that? That's like 20 yards a catch. 21 yards a catch, 22 yards a catch last week. Come on now, brah. Yeah, I mean, how about Harrison last week? Did we call that one? Or Minnesota Vikings start your number 1 receivers against Minnesota, especially when they're like good. I think we got to go Harrison there.
Yeah, I like that too. And we need one in the flex between then Tracy, White, and Hopkins. I think.
I'm going to go Tracy.
Yeah, I was going to say I think that's Tracy with what we said earlier. I like that call as well. Dylan Carver, good morning, Guru. Pick 2, D-Hop, Jennings, and Westbrook.
Westbrook Akine.
That's what I'm going to assume, yeah.
Right. We're not going to be starting my old work colleague, Brian Westbrook. It's my guy right there. He's great. He's a great co-worker where I hung out with Brian Westbrook for a whole season for about 12 hours a day every Sunday. Great dude. I mean, man, he's an impressive guy. He just is. And he was smart as shit. He really, really was smart on the running backs. Real quick, my favorite B West story is I was a big Dalvin Cook guy. And when he came out, I was a big Dalvin Cook guy when he came out. And he was struggling early on. So I asked B West, I'm like, can you break down the tape for me and just tell me what you're seeing, And he reported back to me. He's like, yeah, it's not him at all. It's the O-line. They're just not clicking and things like that. And sure enough, 2 weeks later, Dalvin started ripping off runs and kicking ass. I'm like, man, what a call. Anyways, that's Juwan Jennings, huh?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
I think we got to go NWI. We got to fly out of NWI.
Okay.
It's a good airport.
Going with the high upside on that one.
Now, I still have to answer the other one, though, because it's Jennings or D-Hop.
Yes.
Let's see here. I think I'll go D-Hop over Jennings. I don't even know what to think about Jennings anymore at this point. Like he was all right last week.
Yeah,
but I'm going to go D-Hop.
Right. I think that's fair. Deep shot option for Kansas City.
They play a lot of zone. LA plays their zone heavy, and you want D-Hop against zone.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Emilio says, starts to question Tampa, Arizona, or the Saints defense, and he has a Cade Otton or Jake Ferguson question as well.
Tampa, Arizona, Saints. Tampa against the Raiders and O'Connell. Arizona against Geno. And No, I can't do the Saints D. Even though it's Drew Lock, I can't do it. I can't do it. I mean, it's in New Jersey too, by the way, for what it's worth.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm going Arizona.
Yeah, I would.
I'm not
too.
a defense guy. I must say at this point.
Milio, if you want the defense streaming information, check out Brian Drake's article on the website, fantasypoints.com. He absolutely crushes that article every week.
He does. And we can also look at the rankings. The projections. Let's take a look at what we have here. These are very scientific projections. Tampa, Arizona. I'm going to guess we have Arizona above. Yep. Yes, we do. We have Arizona at 4 because Geno Smith is not that great and throws at the other team. So we're going to go Arizona.
Turnover machine. Are you going Cade Otton or Jake Ferguson?
Oh, boy. Because let me tell you, as I wrote in the trade article, and it's a tough one because there's all kinds of stuff going on. Like, I don't think Jake Ferguson's going to lose his job because he got concussed. But Luke Schoonmaker's been pretty damn good. But the schedule for the Cowboys for tight ends is unbelievably great. I mean, Cincinnati this week is really good. Carolina is also really good. And Tampa, really good. Now, Philly isn't bad. In fact, that is Philly's biggest weakness right now because they're good against everything else. They're good against running backs. They're obviously good against slot receivers, Cooper DeJean. They're good against outside receivers with Quinion Mitchell and Darius Slay. Otten has been a little rotten here, but Otten also does have a good schedule. Let me take a look at that real quick. I know we're looking at this week, but yeah. He's got the Raiders, Chargers, Cowboys. Pretty good. Yeah, it's a tough one. I'm going to go Ferguson.
I like that. I like that call.
Yeah. Yep.
Like that call. TX Breader 83, half PPR. Excuse me. He's looking for his Superflex option. Trevor Lawrence is not playing, I don't believe. So we got Mac Jones, J-Mo, Mooney, or my boy Jonnu at the Superflex. Tough week.
Half a point PPR too.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see Jonnu's matchup here. That's one thing I haven't really gotten into, but hey, we kind of figured it out. What is that? A week or two ago? That my bad. What about Miami's offense? Oh, never mind. The offense goes through Jonnu Smith now.
Yeah.
You know, the guy that no one drafted this summer. That's who the offense goes through now. Sorry, Tyreek. Looks like a good matchup. Yeah. It is a pretty good spot for Jonnu. Boy, I wish it was a full point.
Yeah, it's very hard to have a floor in that case.
I wish I knew if Mooney was good because I do kind of like Mooney here in this one. Although, I think I like Drake London more, obviously. Although Mooney's got a slightly better schematic matchup here. But to your point, he was open for a tutty, right?
Mm-hmm.
Last week. It is a Kirk Cousins revenge game. Though, I mean, it could be a tough go for Kirky. So I'm going to remove, I think I'll go Jonnu there. I can't do Mac Jones. I like Mac Jones. I always have. I've been a Mac Jones guy.
Did play well off the bench. 20 points in 4-point leagues off the bench last week against Houston, but Tennessee is no Houston defense. Tennessee is for real. So I don't blame you on that one. I think I go Jameson Williams because if I'm putting someone in my super flex spot, I want a chance at 25-30. I don't know. I think J-Mo could do it. They could try to make a statement against the Packers in a primetime game. So I don't mind that at all. I don't think you're going wrong either way.
I'd go J-Mo for 25 for sure, but he's got a way better chance for 25 than Jonnu. However, who's got a better chance for 14?
Yeah, that's the problem. Is J-Mo might get like seven targets a game, but some of them are just no chance balls, if you would, which is still important to note. Andrew, again, if I have Bucky and Jacobs at RB and CD and Lennon at wide receiver, should I trade Amari for Jonathan Taylor in a full PPR? I would.
Bucky and Jacobs. Oh, hells yeah.
Yeah, you're rich.
As much as I like Jonnu or Cooper, doesn't mean it's going to happen. It's all on paper. But I'll tell you what is going to happen in your fantasy football championship. I could tell you that if you're still in it in week 17, you know what's going to happen if you do this deal? Jonathan Taylor is going to win you a championship because he's going to run for a $150
and
against the Giants in New Jersey. And Jonathan Taylor is from New Jersey, so the weather won't be a problem for Johnny Taylor. He's literally from the state. He grew up 100 miles south of the stadium there in Salem County, New Jersey, so we're fine there. And he went to Wisconsin, by the way.
Homecoming narrative for Jonathan Taylor. Yeah, that's an insane week 17 matchup. I would take that as well. Morning fellas need to sit two between Lamb, Harrison, Shakir, Judy, Moody, and Jennings. If I had any hair left, I'd be pulling it out this week.
Well, I mean, I don't think we literally cannot sit Jerry Judy.
No,
we can't.
Tillman's going to get the Joey Porter Jr. matchup.
Yeah, we absolutely, we're going with Judy. This is literally the guy for those I screwed over in multiple years by recommending Judy. This is literally the guy that we thought we might get. You know, we knew that this was within his realm of possible outcomes. That is why we always push, all of us here at the site have always pushed Judy. I'm pretty sure, I mean, I remember seeing him at the damn combine, but the years run together. But I'm pretty sure Jerry Judy, his career does not extend longer than FantasyPoints.com. Let's take a look. Correct. Jerry Judy was drafted a month after FantasyPoints.com launched. So we all love Jerry Judy. We're all Judy people with the site. You know, I go on my own a lot, but I'm often in lockstep with everybody. I don't listen. I mean, I do what I do, but I'm often of the same opinion, especially when guys are good. Anyways, it's not Shakir. I think we can rule out Mooney. Just look, it may happen, but
those are the two
he's not been that healthy, and Kirky is falling off a little bit, and it could be a scary matchup. So we good? We're not doing Judy and Mooney, and we're good, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He needs one more. Didn't he?
He needing to sit two. So if we're sitting Shakir and Mooney, we're good.
Oh, he needs to sit two. Okay, good.
Sit
Okay.
Two. Rob, we definitely answered the Chase and D-Hop for Nico Sutton. He says, what are the chances of getting a pod with Mr. C sometime soon? No better listen for fantasy.
Yeah, it's just that things just go by so quickly. I mean, Mr. C and I are doing, we did a draft in Philadelphia for SiriusXM in July. Paul Kelly was there, and it was like a listener league. It was like right after I retired, basically, but I'm still involved. And him and I are meeting this week, in this last week of the regular season, I believe, with a playoff spot on the line, because I've lost like 3 in a row. And my team is all drafted. Maybe we'll get something going with Mr. C late in the week here, because we also have the FPI, where that's 2 different leagues. I'm in the playoffs, and Mr. C made the playoffs as well. He's up against Brian Drake this week. So maybe we'll get Mr. C. But
love that.
Herbert, Mahomes, or Mahomes?
We're playing Mahomes.
Yeah, because number one, Herbert, we don't know about McConkey. Number 2, it's not a great matchup. I'm trying to freaking find it here. Where the hell is it? It's the same damn game. Schematically, it's not a good matchup for Herbert. We show it as a negative. I do like Josh Palmer this week if McConkey's out. I'm telling you right now, Josh Palmer is going to do it. Now, it may not be great, but I'm thinking like 4 or 5 grabs for like 60, something like that. Like probably going to hit the prop, probably going to go over double-digit point. I've always liked Josh Palmer. I've always been. In fact, I liked him this summer. It was kind of incorrect. Didn't necessarily envision Quentin Johnston doing as well and Will Dissly as well. But Palmer's good, man. He's always been solid. He's the definition of rock solid, honestly. But yeah, I'm going Mahomes there.
Yeah, I don't blame you at all with that one. That's a pretty easy call. Shakir Garendo or Jameson from Junk Food John?
Garendo. Well, this is one where I'm actually going to rule out Shakir, if you can believe that. Again, the Rams have been nasty on inside receivers. That's a scheme thing. It's not just one player, I don't think. It's more scheme. So it's just not a good Shakir week. No, it could work out for him, honestly, if this turns into a shootout, to be fair. I mean, he could still get 10 targets in the game and crush it. But, we can't predict that. So what can we look at? The schematics of the matchup, and they're not good. Although, technically, it's not awful because they're all kinds of different shells. But, yeah, I'm not going to do it. So now it comes down to expectations. If the safe play is Garendo.
Yes.
Because he's getting 15 touches. But if I need an upside, I got to go off here. I'm going Jameson.
I agree. Yeah, Brett read that perfectly. Cool Kev needs to know Tracy, Swift, or Dowdle in PPR.
Tracy, Swift, or Dowdle? Well, I'm leaning Tracy. I haven't done rankings yet. Oh, and Dowdle, forget it. Against Philly, forget it. I trust Tracy more than Swift. Swift looked all right last week.
Yeah.
Against a pretty tough run D. I was mentioned to Brett, I think, that I've noticed. I mean, I'm no film guru, but, just watching with my own eyeballs, I'm like, you know what? They're a little weak off the edges. And I'm pretty sure Swift had a nice run off the edge in that matchup last week here. 12-yarder. That was about it, though. I mean, wasn't special. And, he did catch 2 for 35. But no, yeah, I'm going to go with Tracy.
Yeah, I like that. Is it safe to start Lamb this week?
I mean, if he's practicing and set to go, I mean, he is a professional. He did just get paid. It is a great matchup. So, yes, I'm going to say yes. And by the way,
I agree.
Here's the thing. Like, again, it's all little things that you add all up, and it's all part of my process, if you will. Most basic point ever, but I learned a long time ago working with former NFL players like Ron Jaworski and Sterling Sharp. And Sterling Sharp, of course, my favorite player of all time. The aforementioned Brian Westbrook.
Sharp making it through to the finalists for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, baby. Oh, I mean, it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen. The guy was an absolute baller. My favorite player of all time, and also a personal friend of mine that I got to work with for a full year at NFL Network. It was unbelievable. It was so awesome. And he loved me and Kaplan. He did. He really did. Like, he was like, you know what? These guys are all right. Like, they might be fake football nerds, but they actually know ball a little bit. They goof around a little bit. Yeah. He kind of loved us. He came on a Sirius show a couple of years ago because we hadn't heard from him in like 15 years. He doesn't do a lot of media stuff, and he retired and he was Mr. Media. But I asked him about it, like, why'd you stop, basically? And he's like, I've been there, done that. Like, what else am I going to do? And that's kind of how I felt about the Sirius show. Like, took it on as a challenge, did it for 8 years. I'm like, kind of crushed it. I mean, what else am I going to do here?
Next venture.
Let me give it to somebody else. Anyways, we went off on a tangent there.
We do that sometimes. Eddie Eddie needs Jameson Williams and Cedric Tillman. Got dropped in my league, and Elijah Moore is still on the wire. Who do I pick up here?
Jeez.
I mean, hard to not pick up all of them.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, you look at these specific matchups for like inside, outside receivers. And I had been noticing that Tillman's matchups look scary. Now, not necessarily in week 16 against Cincinnati, because they stink. And they might be punting by then. 17, Miami. I don't know. That's probably a medium matchup. Let me look at those Lions again real quick. I mean, they do love Jameson. He's just, and they try to get him going. It's just a little frustrating. You know, I'm not going to do, I think I'm going Eli Moore.
Yeah, I don't blame you for that call
Eli
at all.
Moore.
Don't blame you for that call at all. I like it.
How many targets does he have in his last? He's got like 50 targets in his last 4 games, I believe.
I know, and Scott's been oddly quiet about it. I figured he would be running through the streets screaming like a madman. But
I love Moore too, man. I remember in that
3, 6, 3, and 8 for his target. So he's got some good matchups coming up. KC, slot funnel. Pittsburgh, stay away from Porter. Cincy is just Cincy. Miami.
Exactly.
I like it. I like the call.
Yeah.
And they're just going to keep chucking. This is just Cleveland from last year down the stretch without the playoff chances, right? They're just going to keep throwing this ball 40 times a game because they can't cover grass at this point in the year for some reason. So, I mean, I don't mind it at all. I like it. Sebastian Pentrelli says, good morning. 0.5 PPR, pick 3, Debo, Watson, Marvin Harrison Jr., Thielen, or Westbrook. Akine, we're picking 3. We're sitting 2, really.
I mean, I honestly, sincerely do believe that Christian Watson can make a big play here. Lions, it's man. I mean, it's not that complicated. He's a man beater. Oh, here he comes. Watch out, boy. Ba, ba, da, ba. He's a man beater. But he's also not reliable. And even if he's open and gets a downfield chuck, still questionable whether or not he actually catches it. So we're going to do Marvin Harrison Jr. Now, Thielen is a little scary this week against Philly. I think I'm going Westbrook Akine. I'm getting him in there.
Okay, he's in.
And Marvin Harrison. And now it's between Debo, Watson, Thielen. Well, okay. Well, now we can go attack it from an expectation perspective. If you want the safe, steady 9.7 points, go Thielen. If you feel like I need 15 plus, that's Watson. That's it.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. Dan Casey says drop Hunt to pick up Bigsby.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that too. Hunt's role is gone.
Yeah. What else?
I believe we answered that one unintentionally. This is going to be interesting. Which 49ers running back to grab after Garendo?
Oh, yeah. Wait a second. Why did I have Dowdle playing I was on the wrong week. My bad, dog. But you know what? I'm sorry about that. The one thing they do well, since he is stop the run, though, I will say. But yeah, I screwed that up. My bad. But you know what? Dowdle got his last week. I feels a little point chasey with Dowdle.
No, I agree. Is there a running back you're picking up if you miss out on Garendo, or do you just think Garendo is it? For me, it's Patrick Taylor, a running back out of Memphis. Is kind of.
Oh, you're talking about just on the Niners?
Yes. Which 49ers running back to grab after Garendo?
Be Patrick Taylor. The cut master general. That guy Patrick Taylor's been cut more times than a big piece of paper in a kindergarten class.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he has.
Guys,
Can Can I just say what I'm sad about? So the 49ers signed Cody Schrader as an undrafted free agent.
Yeah.
And he's now on the Rams. And this is the moment, I think, if Cody Schrader were still in the 49ers, he would be taking the majority of the snaps over a guy like Garendo. He just screamed a Kyle Shanahan one-cut runner and had a workhorse role in college. To me, this would have been the smash spot. I tweeted that maybe we get a waiver claim off of the Rams practice squad for Schrader, but it's not looking like it. But it's Patrick Taylor is the obvious one.
Yeah. Cody Schrader led the SEC in rushing last year. Hello.
Yeah, I loved him.
And he's a pretty good receiver.
Yes.
I believe.
I loved him. I went nuts when they signed him, and well, they let him go.
Yeah.
Sad days. Dan Cates says pick up Brandon Cooks in case Lamb is out Monday night. I think we both agreed Lamb is playing, but it can't hurt. It always depends on who you have to drop.
Yeah. No, I mean that can't hurt. Cooks, I thought he might be cooked, but he actually looked pretty good last week.
Yes. Yeah. Agree with that. We got the Thielen Westbrook.
Yeah, Schrader was he was a Senior Bowl guy. He wasn't overly impressive, I will say, at that.
He's not a toolsy running back. He's just a good running back, right? Doesn't do anything flashy, but I mean, you don't need a flashy running back in a Shanahan system. This is a guy that had a system that had Reuben Drones running for 1,000 yards. You don't have to be flashy.
Wow, Reuben Drones, there's a name.
There's a pull. Yeah, not a name you thought you'd hear today, but here we are.
Mm-hmm.
Greg Martinez says, "Gorific morning." LFA, would you bother playing Debo again? I have Jennings, DJ Moore, and Shakir. Debo, man, he's causing people headaches.
I know. Let me see. Let me just see exactly how bad we are with Debo right now. Well, we got 6 points last week.
Some of that was because of the fumble.
Oh, I'm not even including that. He had 20 freaking yards. That's it. So we got less than that. Oh my God. He got 0.
Yeah, he had 4. I have 4 in PPR league. He had the 4 receptions. With the fumble.
Oh, right. I don't know why I'm looking. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sick.
But I mean, look at the last 3 weeks: 6.1, 3.1, and 4. Playing 87, 67, and 75% of the snaps. We can't play this guy. He hasn't had more than 22 yards in 3 weeks.
Freaking Brandon Ayuk seems like Brandon Ayuk I mean, it's not his fault about McCaffrey, but like the high Ayuk thing kind of messed them all up. I just feel like if they had gotten that resolved and he didn't hold out, he probably wouldn't have gotten hurt. And I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of different things seem to change with that, especially with the slow start out of the gate. Then they have to ask Debo to do different things. It's a snowball effect, really. And
yeah, it is.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
We need to know, do I start Garendo or Breece Hall here? I think this is a little bit of overthinking. I think we play Breece Hall.
Yeah, you got to do it.
I think Garendo's going to be okay, but we need to bring down some expectations here. I think a little bit. Very rarely do you get somebody off a waiver wire that's going to score 35 points, right? 30 points, even 20 points. So
we'll be happy with 13.
Yes, I will be. Trust me. Do you know how many leagues, Guru? I will take 8 to 10 points in my RB2 spot and I will win. Just give me 8 to 10. That's all I need. Mark.
Well, don't ask that of Javonte Williams, by the way, because the answer is no.
Hey,
I'll give you 2. How about 2?
I was the anti-Javonte guy all off season on the website, and I've been happy to have had the fade.
Yeah, I was agnostic. I kind of held off really having a strong take on it, and then at the end I was in, but not enthusiastically in. But I had him on my list.
Hard to be
and all that.
Just not explosive. Mark Farmer wants to know in a half point, would you start Thielen over Debo? Lots of Debo questions this week.
Yeah. I mean, Cooper DeJean has been great, but is he going to completely shut down Thielen? Probably not. He won't make a big play. He'll catch, 6 balls for like 7 yards a catch. But yeah, I think I'd trust Thielen more.
Their floors seem to be about the same anyway. So let's see if Bryce Young can continue to absolutely ball. I mean, the First Read podcast covered Bryce Young this week. He was Joe Marino's champ of the week. So shout out, turning some heads here.
I did the calculations in my head, by the way, knowing what he showed last year compared to this last month. And by my calculations, it's random, but I'm probably, if there was a way to scientifically do it, I bet you I'd be close as hell. He's 220% better than he was last year.
I love that. We've got Just Chat that says Rusher Gino. He says Daniels is on bye. Other waiver wires include Carr, who we know the answer to that, and Winston. It really comes down to, would you play Winston, Rusher, Gino is really what it comes down to.
It's between Winston and Smith. I think I'm going Winston.
Yeah,
he's got better weapons. I think, well, definitely Winston has more weapons than Gino.
I think Gino has the weapons. They don't have the offense clicking. JSN was 33 seconds away with his target, right? If we just move that to the fourth quarter for getting 1 catch a quarter, that is just not going to hold up. They are blanketing DK, and now they're adding in Charbonnet, so they're taking Walker off the field a little bit. I think the offense is kind of in a mess right now with first-year coordinator Grubbs. So
it's been a mess all year.
Yeah, it's just not working the way it was working earlier in the season.
Gino. It's Gino. It's Gino's fault, clearly.
Yeah, the pick last week was really bad. Or
you go 10 years. You go 10 years after being granted only a second-round pick, and you're nowhere. And then all of a sudden you're good. Like, okay, great, but you were good for a specific reason, I think, and because that was a perfect offense. They simplified it for him. He was very decisive.
572 times.
And now it's a new offense that probably isn't as simplified, and he's just not as decisive out there. And he's kind of been a square peg in a round hole when you really kind of look at it from an aerial view. Like, I mean, that's a good way. I mean, that's how I would describe it. He's just not doing it in the system. It's just not good. Like, yeah, so
the touchdowns aren't coming. That's really been the difference. Like, he's a top 12 fantasy quarterback right now, and
not
that's
a lot
kind
of big plays either.
Blows my mind. No, and I think some of that too is they're locking DK down. They're not letting him get outside and throw that ball deep to DK, which has been there previously in the last couple of years. It's not there because why they're going with the heavy under and screen offense of JSN. It's just how the offense is dialed up right now. And it's like you said, it's just not working with Gino. I like Winston as well here. I would play Winston over Gino. Dan Casey says Stafford or Darnold this week.
It's close. I have a feeling that Stafford could do very well, but I'm going to go Darnold because Darnold, look, I mean, he's been more consistent than Stafford. That's indisputable. And he gets 240 pretty much every week. He's averaging in his last 4, 263. I mean, it's pretty good, keeping the interceptions somewhat contained here. He's thrown 3 in the last 4. They're giving up 2 tutties a game, 7.5 YPA, teamed with a 70% completion rate means they're not that good. Basically, they're giving up 21.9 points. That's a good number there in their last 4. So Darnold.
Yeah, I like that call. Greg Martinez asks Winston or Locke.
Yeah, Winston. I mean,
has to be, right?
Yeah. By the way, didn't we have a disagreement last week on here? I can't remember what it was.
Not last week. We did the week before. Last week we were in sync, if you would. The week before we did have a DeAndre Hopkins thing that evened out. We ended up evened out on the DeAndre Hopkins one a couple weeks ago. But last week we actually not won. I'm looking in my notes.
I thought maybe it was a Pitts one. I
It
could.
if it
That could
is,
have
it's
been
that
two.
I would never play Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, well, I was down on him last week, so that's not it. Yeah,
Uh,
unbelievable.
I can't play this man ever again. Like he is
know.
as dead to me as can be. Not
Thought we
good.
were out of the doldrums. I thought we were out of it. I thought we
Yeah.
made it. Nope.
Now, you know
We
what's
did
going to
not.
happen, Guru. I can tell you what's going to happen. Penix is going to come in. He's going to target Pitts 3 or 4 times, and we're going to be right back in. And then we're going to repeat the cycle when he gets one target again. I can feel it. I
Yeah,
know it's
yeah.
coming as a fantasy community. You can't avoid it. It's just how the magic happens.
Yep.
Neil
doubt
Weber
about it.
says, need to start 3 wide receivers in a half-point PPR. Jameson, MVS, Westbrook Akine, Shakir, Leggett, or Dobbs. And he says, in the flex spot, would you play another wide receiver or play Walker? We can answer that one. It's probably Walker. But as for the other wide receivers, Jameson, MVS, Westbrook, Akine, Shakir, Leggett, or Dobbs.
I mean, Dobbs is like really hard. I don't think we want Dobbs against. Now, why am I losing Dobbs against man? Is it good or bad? Damn it. Let's see here. I think it's good. Yeah, it is good. Okay. I mean, it's not great, but it's not bad. 1.78 yards per route run against man. Yeah, that's why. That's it. Yeah, I know why. Why is because like when you get Dobbs against like man, you do things like back shoulder fades and things like that with Love, and Love will just chuck it up kind of a thing. Did that to Dobbs on those touchdowns about a month ago on the right side. He scored at least one. I remember. Remember that?
He had
that was man coverage.
Game.
Yep. Yeah. That said, I mean, freaking maddening handicapping Packer receivers.
Yes.
Yeah, I gotta get MVS in there.
Yes,
I really do. And I think I'm going Westbrook Akine.
Yeah.
And I hope to God that the streak doesn't end here. Literally the first time I've ever backed this man. He better not shit the bed.
He's been a touchdown machine since signing with the Saints in the Shaheed role. So Derek Carr throws a good deep ball. He throws a good deep ball.
Yeah, yeah. No, I was actually talking about Westbrook Akine.
NWI.
Yeah.
Right. He's also been a touchdown magic.
Oh, I know. Oh, more so than MVS.
Yeah,
7 of 8 games.
It's insane. He has more touchdowns than rookie sensation Marvin Harrison Jr. on the year. How insane is that?
Now, half a point PPR. If we're going to MVS Westbrook, we're kind of playing for upside. So maybe we go with the safer Shakir there.
I think I actually go the opposite. This is all gas to me. Give me Jameson, MVS, and Westbrook.
All right. No, that was I thought of that.
You could end up with a 0 here, but if 2 out of these 3 hit, you win the week. I'm always playing for maximum point totals. Give me Jameson, MVS, Westbrook, Akine. Play it a little safer. Put Walker in that flex spot, and good luck, man. I love this. This is exactly the type of lineup that I end up playing every single week. I have no issue.
Well, hold on. I didn't know Walker. I forgot Walker was in. I'm going Walker in there, man.
Well, in the flex spot, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. He said, yeah, or one of the others in the flex is like Shakir, Leggett, or Dobbs. No, I'm playing Walker there for sure.
Walker only had 16 carries for 41 in the first meeting, but he got 4 for 52. I know Charbonnet's coming on a little bit, but it's a solid matchup for Walker. So I would go with those volatile ass MVS and NWI acronyms or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. Nate says, morning Guru and Tommy T. What do I do? Need 2 Garrett Wilson, NWI, Skinny Batman, or Bucky Irving. 2 points per 40-yard reception.
I'm going Skinny Batman. Let's assume he goes. By the way, did you see him warming up? Did you see him warming up last week? How skinny he looks.
Yes.
Without the pads. Man, he is
He looks
wow.
skinny with the pads.
I know he's ridiculous, man. He's Gumby, but I
Gumby.
like him for sure, and Bucky.
Yeah, we got to play Bucky there. I agree with you. It's hard to sit Garrett Wilson. 10 targets last week, was missed completely wide open, but we don't know what's going on over there. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. I think I'm still gonna play Garrett Wilson because I'm just Garrett Wilson locked. But yeah, that's tough. I don't mind the skinny Batman. I think he's gonna come back and play really well. Did you see the little bit of Twitter drama on the Eagles?
No.
Did you see this? Somebody had tweeted, hey, I need all my guys to be, up tier maximum, everyone playing all cylinders, etc. AJ Brown had quote tweeted it and said, like, watch the film. I'm always open. There's only so much I can do.
Oh.
And then he deleted it shortly thereafter. So there's a little bit of contention with the Saquon Barkley being the focal point of the offense, I think. I don't know. Some squeaky wheeling happening behind closed doors. I don't know. But it was
every
hot
time
on the Twitter
though.
wire.
Okay, yeah. Nick Sirianni has made some sort of deal with Lucifer because every single time it looks like the vibes are getting bad and scary, like this year early, they just turn it around. So, I mean, it's always a bunch of different things. I think I still don't give Sirianni a ton of credit, honestly. I don't. I could be a hater. But here's what I say. This turnaround has all been about Vic Fangio's defense, their young corners coming on, and Barkley.
Yeah,
I think I could oversee that.
Yeah, 100%. Sirianni is just the most unlikable coach of all time, I think. Like, he personifies
He's just awkward.
unlikable.
He's just awkward. He does not have good
yelling at
people
fans.
skills. He's just there's an awkwardness about him that I can't really articulate. But
yelling at fans and stuff is so bush league. It just I don't know.
But I as I always say, he actually used to live in my old hometown, like less than a mile away, and he would often, I've heard, I didn't see it with my own two eyes, but like just kind of walk around like a regular guy, go to the local pub for a beer like a regular guy. Like, I just found that to be unusual. On one hand, it's kind of cool, but on the other hand, it's a little unusual. So again, that's him. Like, you can't figure this guy out. They show him at the national anthem, and all of a sudden it turns into Niagara Falls. Like, what? I mean, I understand you want to be a little emotional here, but Niagara Falls? Like, what the hell? He's just weird. I think he's a weirdo.
We just got
my take.
Just got an update that Patrick Taylor just got cut again. He was waived, but is now on the practice squad. The backup to Garando is Izzy Abanikanda.
Oh, so his name is Izzy Abanikanda.
I did not hear that he got waived again. That's truly remarkable that a guy just, shout out to him. He keeps persevering. Good for him.
I like Izzy Abanikanda. I liked him coming out. Yeah, absolutely. I chopped it up with him at the combine, and we had something very much in common, if you can believe it. He's from Brooklyn, and the neighborhood he grew up in is literally the neighborhood I lived in the 70s.
Wow.
In Flatbush. So we had that in common. He was a great dude. I loved him. But then apparently he came in a little entitled and didn't really endear himself to the coaching staff. I think he got a little too comfortable because he's from New York and he got drafted by the Jets. It was like, oh, wow. Because I think I asked him that, like, oh, would you like to be drafted by the Jets or Giants? He's like, oh, yeah. But anyways, so I don't think he put his best foot forward. I don't think the coaches really liked him. But he looked good in the last two preseasons. I think he's good. He's good.
He's worth the pickup. Did not realize Press Taylor got cut. I scrolled down the comments because we're at 1:20, so I'm trying to get to some of the recent different ones, some different players involved in the questions. And I looked and I had to bring that up. Eddie came in with the new info. That's so good.
Well, let's rapid fire it. I mean, it's amazing that we're still on this stuff. Love sucks. Hey, Derek, delete that comment.
I was
Or
gonna say,
can we edit our own chat and delete it? Come on, Derek.
I was going to point it out. Jordan Love is the QB 16 while playing injured through most of the year and missing 2 weeks. So he most definitely does not sucks.
Shout out to Ethan Batterman, though. Shout out to Flatbush. My grandparents went from Flatbush to South Jersey. Well, I did the exact same thing, Ethan.
Followed the guru's path. Yeah, we can rapid fire some of these off. We got a few here. We can get through these. Flex, Fryermuth, or Ford? Bye week hell, Greg says.
I did like Fryermuth last week, actually. And he was great. Let me see here. Well, he didn't do shit in that matchup a couple weeks ago, did he? Let's take a look here. Yeah, he's last 3 games in this matchup, he's done diddly poo. 2 for 23. Ford. I mean, Ford is kind of looking all right here, like getting most of the catches. Although last week he almost didn't. Let's see here. Hold on a second. God damn it! How do you spell Fryermuth? Oh my God.
FREIERMUTH.
Oh yeah, EI there.
Last week,
Yeah.
4, 2, 3, and then 2. 6 catches against Cincinnati with a touchdown.
Oh well, he did have 4. Yeah, he had 4 for 59 in that matchup. But yeah, they're just they are giving up. Okay, they are giving up production here. They're giving up 5 grabs a game. Ford, that's close, man. It's like I feel like Ford is safer for 7 or 8 points, but Fryermuth could like score again, and man, that's really close. I think I'm going to go Ford as a vote against Chubb.
Okay, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. Kevin.
By the way, one other Flatbush reference. I know I've brought this up a million times, but I literally went to elementary school with Omar from The Wire.
Oh,
in Flatbush. Just saying.
Everybody run! Omar's coming.
Omar coming. I literally probably walked the halls with Omar. I mean, how badass is that? That's cool as shit. I'm sorry.
Shout out. Garendo, Irving, DJ Moore, Skinny Batman. This man needs 2. You're rich.
I like Skinny Batman. I mean, I'm going for it.
Yep.
He's a zone buster. And Irvin, we're not sitting Bucky Irving.
Cannot sit Bucky. If you
sit Bucky, you clearly do not give a what?
If you sit him, you have the best team of all time. If you have that option, I'm just gonna put that out there. PPR stash need 2. Gainwell, Ray Davis, Spears, Corum, or Vidal. He was looking for handcuffs, basically.
Oh, I mean, Ray Davis.
I like that one.
And I mean, Corum is the best one.
That's my pick.
Yeah. Let's go Corum.
You want upside? If Kyron goes down, Corum has the path to 24 points a game, and Vidal's not a real player. I actually think convince me he's real.
Yeah, right. I actually think Corum might do better than Kyron, but then again, I'm a little bit of a Kyron hater.
Sure. That's fair. We actually just had a lengthy conversation about Blake Corum and Kyron on Dynasty Points last night. It does apply to this question. So, Chris, if you head over to the YouTube page, look up the Dynasty Points episode from yesterday or the Dynasty Points podcast feed. We do have a long talk about Blake Corum in this scenario that kind of goes real deep into the dive. Steve Me says, PPR, I got offered Garendo for Tracy. I got Garendo PPR. Our playoff start week 15. I can't even speak right now. Starts week 15 and 16. I'm keeping Tracy here.
Yeah. I mean, when you're just bad, like you as an organization, I think you're just looking for hope for the future, and that comes in the form of young players. So I think if I'm running the Giants, I am featuring Malik Neighbors and Tyrone Tracy on offense the rest of the way.
Yeah,
period.
I agree.
And Theo Johnson, if we're okay, by the way, and Theo.
I do love Theo Johnson. He is such a good pickup. Need 2 this week. If Skinny B is out, it's Skank. We think Skinny B is playing, but for the art of the question, we've got Brooks, Elijah Moore, Parker Washington, or Will Dissly.
Definitely Dissly. I know.
Really,
I know
even after the burger last week.
Yeah. But it's KC, man.
True.
Hey, they
It is
are
true.
unbelievably giving against tight ends. Like let's take a look here. Last 4 weeks, they're giving up 6 catches a game for 75 yards. I mean, look what Brock Bowers did against him last week. I mean, he's Brock Bowers, but I will say Dissly had 1 freaking target last week, and it was in the red zone, and he would have caught it if it was a good ball. It was a bad ball. Did you see that one from Herbert? Throw it at his freaking feet.
Yeah, I like it, and then obviously we like Elijah Moore. We talked about it, so I think those would be the 2
we can
we're
go
picking
Elijah
if
Moore.
Skinny B, and if Skinny B plays, we're just playing Elijah Moore, I imagine. So I think
and then I would go Dissly. I would go Dissly and Skinny B, by the way.
Interesting. Okay, well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna write.
Oh, are you writing this one down?
Oh, I'm writing.
All right.
Down. That's the first one. That's the first one.
Disley's
Today.
catching. I believe Dissly will catch 5.
The funny thing is I'm betting against the guru versus the tight end. And I think we've learned one lesson this year is to not do that. But look, it is my rookie season here at Fantasy Points. We're trying to make a stand. I'm gonna dare go against the guru tight end call.
It's pretty much always been my best position. There's no doubt about it.
It's my worst. So that's
I don't know what it is. I mean, I've got a long history. The first one was actually Wesley Walls. That I can remember. Back in 1997. I thought that Wesley Walls was going to catch 10 touchdowns, and he did, I believe. Let's take a look.
Goodness, what a Paul.
Oh, that was a good
Walls.
call.
Is that
he was
Panthers?
a veteran he was a veteran who I'm like, this guy is good. He was a backup on the Niners. And there it is. I'm like, he only made a couple of plays. Oh, okay. So yes, okay. Then he went to the Saints. And then he did some good things there. And then he went to Carolina. It was 96, actually. He was my sleeper tight end of the year. I don't remember having a sleeper tight end of the year in 95. 95, my sleeper of the year was, of course, my first call ever, which was Isaac Bruce.
He is a 5-time Pro Bowler.
Wesley Walls?
I did not know that.
Yeah, there he is. Oh yeah,
and an all-pro first team all-pro. I did not know that. We're getting a lesson today. Shiraz, morning guys. Would you pick up Winston off waivers for the playoffs and drop Geno? Have Anthony Richardson as well. We kind of answered this one a little bit earlier.
Let me see this here. Geno, KC, Cincy, Miami, and then I think so.
Yeah, I would as well.
Yeah, let's do it.
Just based on pure volume of Winston, they're both turnover machines. Winston already has the same amount of touchdown passes this year, or close to what Geno has already in his short time. So
yeah,
he's two off. So yeah, we're gonna go there.
Geno always exhibited bad vibes to me. By the way, I have a photo of Geno at the podium at the combine with Gil Brandt, who I knew personally. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I tweeted like shaky vibes for the Geno Smith. I don't know. It's just something about him. Like he's not particularly gregarious, I guess. That's part of it. Anyways, nothing. I give him credit for battling his career, but I never got a good vibe on the guy. Never.
Right. And just struggling this year a little bit. Maybe he turns it around in the back half of the year, but we'll find out. Steve wants to know Caleb or Geno this week. I think we went Caleb. I think we answered this actually, and I think we went Caleb earlier.
Yeah.
Greg says, "Aren't we chasing points with Judy?"
Not at this point.
I don't think so either. At all. he's going to get the slot role. Tillman's going to get the Porter matchup. I think we are chasing a little bit, but at the same time, his targets and production has been really good.
Yeah, we've been chasing and we've been acquiring.
Yeah, 8 targets, 11 targets, 11 targets, 6 targets, 13 targets. I mean, just absolutely stellar. Kevin Doyle.
He's got to be a top 5 receiver in the last 5 weeks of the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, 40 points obviously helps with that. 14.5, 26.2, 14.3. Absolutely stellar down the stretch. Just like Cooper was on this offense, I think he could be a legitimate league winner down the stretch. So shout out to you if you have him. Kevin Doyle says 1 point need 2. Garendo, Irving, DJ Moore, Skinny Batman. I think we answered a variation of this one as well.
Yeah, we're going to go Irving and Skinny Batman. I think we answered that.
Yeah, I agree. I think this one's pretty easy. Rest of season, Elijah Moore, Shepard, or Watson.
Yeah. I mean, Moore is safer. I mean, Watson, who knows? You know, I liked him 2 weeks ago, and he was open for a 49-yard touchdown. He didn't catch it. It's like, you know, I can do so much. I can't actually physically catch it. Nothing against Watson. He's a great dude. I've met him before. Love that guy. But man, those hands. My hands are better. My hands are better. Like, I don't know what it is about hands. What is it about hands?
I don't
Some
know.
people have good ones, and like, I don't get it. It's weird. Like, I naturally had good hands. I don't know why. I naturally have good hands. He does not. He runs better. He's everything else, more athletic, blah, 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 everything. But the hands, I think mine are better. I don't know how. Anyways.
Yeah, it's not good. There's a drop problem in that room. I mean, you've got another great wide receiver over there, Dontavian Wicks, who also couldn't catch a cold. So it is
contagious
a
little bit too. Maybe Wicks was fine until he got on the roster with Watson.
That could have been it too. Yeah, it's really interesting.
By the way, you know whose hands also suck? Tez Walker.
Yes, God, he's bad. Another
really
bad
bad
pick
hands
by the Baltimore Ravens. Just
I wouldn't give up on him, but man, he's got bad hands.
Well, I mean, it sounds like they're going to cut Deontay Johnson, so they might need him if Rashad's actually hurt. Did you see that conversation with Harbaugh in his press conference?
No, yeah, I saw he's hurt. But
they're like, is Deontay going to be on the roster after the bye week? And John Harbaugh was like, well, there's a lot of moving parts here. We got to see where we're at with him, and it's not good. It's not good. Why don't we call this last one from K Flip? Hey, now Watson or Waddle full PPR?
Yeah,
this one's spicy. That's why I wanted to pick this one.
Yeah, let's see what the schematics are for Waddle real quick. I wrote it down and took note of it, but I haven't studied that one yet. Let's take a look if I can find it. This always happens. Here it is. Bop. Nah, it's not good. It's not. That's what my fear was. But then again, you can't trust Watson over Waddle at this point. So I still go Waddle.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where you can't trust either, but you can definitely trust one more than the other. It's nasty work for both wide receivers right now.
I mean, Watson, I do think he could do it. Yeah, I do think he can do it, man. I really do. But it's like, do I want to bank on it? The last time I did, again, he dropped a 49-yard touchdown 2 weeks ago. So, and that was like almost last chance saloon for me to, like, in terms of back him, having the confidence to back him. But yeah, I wouldn't be shocked at all if he did something really well, really big in the game. But you know, he has big play dependent. That's it. Like, I mean, that's it. Or I guess touchdown. He could score. But yeah, we can't do it. We just have to do the right thing there, or else we'll anger the fantasy gods. Well, I'll wrap it up here. We did an hour and 34 minutes. I'm shocked that we're still getting this many questions here in week 14, but that's a good sign. But we thank you, as always, for tuning in to Hump Day with Hansen. We thank Tommy T-Bone, of course, for all his efforts, as always. What a team player he is. And we thank you as well for liking and subscribing on the YouTube page. We'll wrap it up here. We'll catch you next week here at FantasyPoints.com. Thursday night, tomorrow night, I'll be back with Brett and Graham with Thomas for the Week 14 Matchup Points live stream. So check that out. We'll catch you next time.
What? What?
Why are you shaking your head?
You're welcome.